Hey everyone, come on in. Ooh, wait. Come in and join me. I am wanting to share with you some yumminess and also take you through a little WYIC Inner Circle mentorship coaching for those of you who are wanting to know all about what it's like to work with me and how a inner circle community or mentorship would be beneficial to you, and how you are able to gain from it, what to expect. So I wanted to kind of do something just a tad bit unusual. I don't think it's unusual for me to because I'm always thinking, so I'm always like, okay, let me do this. But timing and planning can be a bit of a challenge. So I decided to take an inner circle I would say theme or topic that we were doing for this last week. This is our last week of August, and we are in our character and mindset review and reset, month. And that's what we are dealing with inside the inner circle mentorship community. And so I have some yumminess at the end. If you've seen my post, then you may know what the yumminess is. But if you have not seen my post, then I want to share the yumminess. So you got to stay with me, okay? So you can know the yumminess at the end that I'm going to be, releasing. So today we were dealing with review, reset, and rise, right? And so that was our theme. That's our theme for this week. And the topic on that is how to take reflection and mindset work into practical next steps for September and beyond. How to take reflection. So you're reflecting, you're doing the reviewing, and you're doing the rise. You're all in that, framework, or all in the meat of things. But how to take everything that you are doing and work it into practical next steps. And I think that's where a lot of us get hung up. Right? You get all of the information, you get all of the you're gleaning and you're learning and you're pulling information, but the execution is very, very weak. You may be feeling as if my execution is not as strong as my start, right? And we want to have strong finish. That's the only way that you will be able to fast track your way to a life of more abundance, right? To that life of reclaiming your abundance, to that wealthy place, to that rich place, to that prosperous place. It is in the follow-up, as they say. It is in the follow-through. It is in the execution of the plans that you make for yourself. And so normally through the WYIC mentorship, we have a welcome. Of course, I welcome you into the mentorship. So I'm kind of going to walk you through, as well as give you a real inner circle mentorship session, right? So we would do an icebreaker. So tonight's icebreaker would have been on, or was on, I can, but I haven't yet. So with this icebreaker, you're going to take a look, or we're going to share things that you've always felt that you wanted to do, a goal or dream, but you haven't pursued yet. Something that you always felt that you wanted to do, a goal or a dream, but you haven't pursued yet. And we would talk about it. You would write it in the chat. I will ask you to share, okay? I'll ask you to verbally share, bring some people to the stage to share something that you always wanted to do, but you haven't done it yet, or you haven't pursued it yet. And something could be like, I can start my, blog, or I can start my, baking, company, something to that effect. Or everybody is doing podcasts, so I think that's going to be an easier one. If you're feeling like the podcast, vibe or the podcast fever, I can start my podcast, right? And so that's something that you will put in the, chats, and we will talk about something that is, I can, but I haven't yet. And maybe we would ask, some awakening questions so that you can understand, like, why haven't you yet? What are those limiting things that's keeping you from starting? What are those, beliefs that is keeping you from progressing? What are those circumstances that's keeping you from moving forward? Maybe it is finances. Maybe you do have children that are a bit more demanding. Maybe you just haven't prioritized your time, or maybe it is fear. So we talk about those things in a safe space, in a place where, okay, they're dealing with the same things that I'm dealing with. They are having the same issues that I'm having with I can, but I haven't yet. And so we take a look at that, and we just talk, we just share for a few minutes. And then we go into our topic, right? I set the tone for what's going on, for the evening with you all, and how I will be, presenting different, I like to challenge you, presenting different thought to provoke, information, so you can chew on it for a little bit, right? Allow it to marinate, allow it to, question your beliefs. Question why you believe the way you believe, why you think the way you think, why you show up the way that you show up. So we're dealing with character and mindset. So this would be our review, reset, and rise, and we will talk about some of the previous, character and mindset topics that we have covered previously. Okay, so, and then how are we going to allow what we have been reflecting on to move us forward, to move the needle in our life? Okay, so that would be the opening. We will set the tone for what's going on, get you all involved, right? Allow you to talk, allow you to communicate, allow you to kind of start thinking and just, reflecting on where you are and why you are where you are, and not in a judgmental way. It's not for you to feel guilty about anything. It's not for you to feel hard on yourself and to be hard on yourself. Guilty, it's not for you to, even become like, oh, well, and become complacent with where you are. But it is to put some fire under your butt. Point blank, period. It is to light fire under you so that you can start reclaiming your life of abundance in the way that you know that you are capable of doing, right? So we break through some of our emotional, places that we are in that is causing us to have the wrong mindset, maybe some things that we are dealing with. So we're talking about how we're going to do something powerful, and by not just reflecting but resetting. So these are all in the opening, and so these are things that I would be presenting to you to kind of get your mindset in the space of receiving and understanding, putting a goal before you. So having a definite of purpose. We want to make sure that you are clear on what's your I can. We want to make sure you are clear on your I can, your capabilities, your vision, your dreams, your purpose, your goals, and making sure that it is something that is going to help you to leave a legacy, build your empire. It's going to help you to reposition you into a place of wealth and purpose and prosperity, right? So this is what we will be reviewing. This is what we reviewed, and this is what we do in the inner circle. So let me tell you a quick story, because I want to kind of, help you to see that there's always someone that is going through or have been through what you are dealing with now. Okay, there is always someone. There is nothing uncommon that you're going through to man. There is nothing uncommon, nothing that you are faced with, nothing that you are maybe embarrassed by, nothing that you may feel as if you are incapable of handling. You just have to be in the right atmosphere. So there was a season where I was journaling endlessly, and I found the power of journaling and why journaling is such a powerful weapon, a powerful tool, a powerful something that you can do that will give you a great return on your investing yourself in journaling. I was writing, I was reflecting, I was analyzing, but I wasn't moving. So some of you may be doing all the things, but you weren't moving. And this is what we talk about in our inner circle, and understanding why you are in the place that you are in, and giving you the tools and the strategies that you need so that you can move and push forward and get your breakthrough, so that you can continue to, reclaim your life and do what you are seeing yourself doing. So I was sitting in my thoughts, but not stepping into action. I'm a thinker. I'm sitting there, but I'm not going to say that I'm just a thinker only, but there was a moment where the thoughts just was racking up, the thoughts like what I can do, this and that and the other. And I would sit there and write it out, but it was the execution that matters most, right? And you got to have a strong finish. It's not how you start, as some would say, but how you finish. Okay, so we want to look at how we are executing what we are envisioning, what we are journaling, what we are speaking about, what we are. You don't want to just have speaking all the things, but there is no action behind what you are saying. And one day, I just realized that reflection without action is just rehearsal. Reflection without action is just rehearsal. So that is when I began to change my mindset, change how I showed up. And I went from just journaling, right, to executing what I wrote about, to start understanding, like, if I'm going to write about it and just read it and it's going nowhere, I want to put some action behind it. So we're not rehearsing anymore. We're rising. So this is the type of talk that we have inside of the inner circle, right? To empower you, to strengthen you, to shift your mindset, to challenge you, right? To allow you to understand that being comfortable, being complacent is not okay. It is not luxe. It's not elite. It's not given, expertise and authority and high performance. It's not giving that you want to leave this world greater than you came, right? So we want to make sure that we are taking on the bigger picture of our life. And I want you to have a larger than life mentality. I want you to have a larger than life attitude, a larger than life, way of walking in rooms, like larger than life. And that's my goal, and that's my purpose for you, right? And that's my design, and the way I design my WYIC Inner Circles, because I want the shoes to be bigger. I want you to feel like, man, I can't walk in them shoes. That gives you something to reach for. And if you do have what it takes, you have everything you need to fulfill your purpose, to fulfill the assignment that God has placed and spoken over your life. Why do I say that? Because God has already said it in His Word, that He has given you everything you need for life, pertaining to life and godliness. So you just take, maybe you're not faith-based and so forth, but the words and the principles is still the same. It doesn't, just because you don't believe something doesn't mean that it's not true, right? is still true, whether you believe it or not. So everything you need pertaining to life and godliness is already in you. So when you step inside the inner circle, the WYIC Inner Circle, all we are doing is unlocking. All we are doing is allowing you to see what's in you that God has already equipped you with, so that you can just fulfill. There's nothing, that you are in need of, that you are, so that you can fulfill your purpose. So this is how we talk inside the inner circle. This is how we move inside the inner circle. You're going to get some Jesus. You're going to get some prayer. You're going to get some encouragement. You're going to get pushed. You're going to get pulled. You're going to get challenged. You're going to get stretched. You're going to get I remember working in a retail shop. I was a manager in Alabama when I was living in Alabama, and this young lady, she was a lot younger than me. I'm thinking she was probably 19 at the time. And so she, the day that I left, I moved to here. The day that I left, she bought me, something for Christmas. And because it was around Christmas that I was leaving, and she wrote me a sweet letter, and I still have that letter. And in that letter, she was like, I didn't like you. She said, I did not like you at first because you always pushed me. You always, pretty much challenged me. I wish I could go get my letter and I could read it to you. So she was like, I did not like you, but I came to love you and admire you. And thank you for being so hard on me, because she was next in line to take my place, right? I helped her to develop, right, into the person that she dared not, maybe she was scared to step into. Maybe she just didn't know that she was equipped to be something greater, someone greater. So in this inner circle, you will probably hate me, but I love you to life. Okay. And it's okay, because by the end of our time together, you are going to be exactly where you need to be. And my goal for every single mom that is in my, vicinity, that is a part of the community, that you are 6 figures. I'm going to get you to a place of earning 6 figures, making 6 figures, either in your own business or in the place that you are employed. And that's my goal. And so that you can see that you have everything within you that you need. Just need to be in the right environment. You just need the right encourager, the right pusher, the right one to see what you can't see for yourself, to have faith in you when you don't even have faith for yourself. I got enough faith for you as well, okay? I got enough vision for you as well, all right? So we take time to look back at looking back and reviewing with honesty. We want to be so honest. We even if it scares you, even if it makes you afraid, even if you don't like to see, those honest parts of you. Like when you start being honest and it scares you, you're like, oh, that's ugly. Oh, that's nasty. I wasn't the right person during this month. I didn't have the right mindset. I didn't think right. I didn't, maneuver right. Handle my finances right. Talk to my children right. I didn't handle that situation right. The things that may be uncomfortable, but we are super honest about where we are. That is the only way you can move forward. It's honesty, and being honest with yourself will unlock your relationships the way that you want to unlock relationships, because you need relationships. Relationships are important. And so if you're not honest with yourself, you can't be honest with someone else. You cannot be honest in a way that is going to build healthy relationships, right? So we want to be honest. We want to this is where we pause and look back with honesty, not judgment. We are not here to judge yourself and say anything negative. We're just uncovering how you did, because we're reviewing the month, right? We're reviewing from when we first started our character and mindset, right? In January, right? And so now we are at a space because you have been building, you have been growing, you have been learning, you have been, pulling off some things, having a new mindset. But, we're reviewing where we are in our work, in our inner circle, so that you can see where you are stuck and why you are stuck where you're stuck. So we want to take a moment. So in this inner circle, we take moments. I take moments and I ask you questions. I'm full of questions. Okay. I ask you questions because that's how I received my breakthrough. My God, today, that's how I was able to pick myself up off the floor of a women's shelter here in Texas with my two boys sharing a square room, laying on the floor, bawling my eyes out. And that was spoken to me. Kristy, what's your I can? And that gave me the power. It gave me the assurance. It gave me the confidence. It gave me how I can start maneuvering in life on a greater scale, because that question said the ball, in other words, the ball is in your court. So many times we're waiting on God, and we hear that we're waiting on God when God is actually waiting on you. He's waiting on you to do the last thing he told you. He's waiting on you to do the last thing before the last thing he's told you. And sometimes he gave you everything that you need. He said, I give you everything you need to get wealth in your home. There is wealth and riches in your home. He wants to see you. It gives him pride to see you prospering. It makes him proud. It makes him happy to see you prospering, right? Because in the beginning, in Genesis, when he created the heavens and the earth, and he created the man, every time he completed a creation, go back and read it, he said, it is good, meaning that it is operating, it is built with everything that I have imagined for it to be built and filled with, so that it can complete the assignment that I have attached to its being. So God has already given you everything you need to complete the assignment, right? So we are taking a moment and we're asking ourselves those hard questions. I'm going to ask you those questions. I want you to think. I want you to be mad. I want you to be angry. And I want you to come back and say, Kristy, I love you. Because if you wouldn't have pushed me and asked me those hard questions, I would not have been the person that I am right now. So some of those questions would be like, what did August teach you about yourself? Sometimes we don't even take a moment to stop and reflect and like, what is this month teaching me? What have I learned about myself? What have I learned about my business? What have I learned about how I showed up? What have I learned about my mindset, my habits? So what did August teach you about yourself? And if you ain't learned anything about yourself, we got some more work to do. We got some more digging to do. You got some more sitting still. Sometimes we don't like to sit still because we don't want to see what's going to come up. We know our past. We know we already know things. And when we sit still, some of us hating sitting still because all of this negative, or what you deem is negative, start to flood through you and start to overtake you, and you don't want to think about it. So you don't want to think about what August taught you. Maybe August has been a month of grieving. I know for me it has. I lost my uncle. And then not too long ago that we lost 3 other people back to back. We just had a funeral the other day, right? I couldn't make them. But what has August taught you? What has August taught you about yourself, right? About your mindset, about your habits. And then what we do is we write it down. We write those things down, even if you have to cry through it. There was times when I was writing them, I got some wet journals. I might not could even go back and read some. I have to blow it off so it can dry, okay? Because I got some wet journals. Sometimes I was frustrated a lot of times. I was upset a lot of times. I was mad a lot of times because I couldn't see my way out of what I was going through, what I was dealing with. And so, but when I go back and I read with fresh eyes, when I read with a clearer mindset, oh, this place taught me how to be, strong in the Lord, or how to be creative, or how to, not allow a problem to be a problem. It told me how to open up my mouth and ask for what I need, because a closed mouth does not get fed. And we sitting around with our mouths closed thinking that somebody can read your mind. I am not a mind reader. I may have the gift of prophecy and I may have the gift of knowledge, but that's only when Holy Spirit allows me to enter into those spaces, right? But other than that, I'm not here trying to read nobody's mind. I'm not here trying to pull teeth and trying to, okay, what's going on? All the things, right? So we write this down. And then even if it's just one sentence, you don't have to have this whole book, this whole paragraph about what you learned. I learned that I am an overcomer. That's powerful. Because maybe you have felt like you have been a failure, and maybe you have not been able to overcome your situations. Maybe you did not know how to negotiate a pay raise or negotiate a promotion. Maybe you did not know how to build a stronger relationship as a single mom. But being inside the inner circle, me being your mentor, you learned how to build stronger relationships. You learned how to pull people in your corner. You learned how to praise other people instead of feeling like a victim and feeling as if you cannot be where they are. You have learned about yourself. So there is something, even if it's one word, I am resilient. I am resilient. That is a applause waiting to happen. So you don't want to beat yourself up. So these are some of the things that we talk about inside the inner circle, right? And then we reflect over at least two things, right? One area where you grew and one area that still need attention, right? Because we all have strengths and weaknesses. Okay, we all have to figure out. It's just like when you are spying out the land, when you're looking at a business and you want to, or looking at businesses and you're growing your business, you're trying to see about other companies that may have similar, similar business model that you have, or you may just want to look at the businesses that's in your vicinity, and you want to look at SWOT is what they call it. The strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the, what is the other word? Okay. Anyway, I can't think of the last word. So you want to look at the strength and weaknesses. So we have strength and weaknesses. It's not for you to get offended by. It's so if you find out about yourself that I'm easily offended, that's a breakthrough. In August, if everything came up against you and you were just somebody said something, you were easily offended. Somebody looked at you wrong, you were easily offended. Then the month of August for you was for you to realize that I am easily offended. And why on God's green earth am I easily offended? So when you're moving into September, when you're moving into October, when you're moving into November and December, and when you are talking to people and they may turn you down and they may say some stuff that you don't like, then you're going to realize, oh, I'm easily offended. So what do I need to do to strengthen myself? What do I need to overcome? Okay, so here's why this matters. Brian Tracy says it best. Clarity is power. This is why all of this matter. And we talk about this inside the Inner Circle mentoring program. Okay, mentorship. And I also have a WYIC, if you're joining the mentor, you automatically be a part of the community, because we keep this type of language going, right? We want to change our atmosphere. So you may have learned about yourself, man, I'm hanging with the wrong people. I need some faith talkers. I need some, high performers. I need some people that are visionaries in my life. I need somebody that if I can't cast my own vision, somebody else can cast a vision, and I can just hook on to it until I'm strengthened in that area to see for myself, right? So you want to be in those type of environments. You want to make sure that you're connecting with the right people and having the right circle and knowing that I'm moving in this area. So the inner circle, if you stay with me a little longer, I don't think I'm going to go through everything because it's pretty long. I've been here for quite a while now. I don't even know what time it's 8:57. I don't even know what time I started this. But I wanted to share with you what it looks like to work with me. What are the benefits of being in the inner circle? What are the benefits of being a part of the community? So I thought, like, okay, for those of you who are wanting to know, and just, even if you're just going to be an ally and share, like, hey, you need to connect with Kristy, or I'm going to have her part of this, whatever platform to speak, or whatever the case may be. I wanted you to know. I just want you to have an inside look, behind the scenes. Can I say that? Is that good? So this would be on Monday nights. This is what we do. When you know exactly what worked and what didn't, you hold the keys to your next level. This is why clarity is power. When you know exactly what worked and what did, you hold the keys to your next level. This is why journaling is so important. And if you don't have a journal, you can go on WYIC Style. Go to my, I have this post that is pinned with everything that you can, if you need to know something about me, know how to get in touch with me, know how to leave a prayer, know how to shop the WYIC merchandise. Everything is already pinned for your convenience, okay? So you go on that and you find the merch, and you can get you a journal so that you can start journaling. I have amazing journals, okay, on there that is going to speak to your soul while you're writing. You get to transform your life while you're writing, okay? So when you know exactly, again, what worked and what did, you hold the keys to your next level. So think about it. Did you discover new strength in yourself? Did you notice old habits trying to creep back in? So I did this morning, a live this morning behind the scenes of my quiet time with the Lord. I want to show you how I hear from God. And so I wanted for those of you who are rediscovering your life in Christ, and one of your areas of weakness is, I can't hear from God. I can't tell when he's speaking. So I did a live this morning about how I hear from God. And I was talking about the residual effects, and you need to go look at that because it only lasts for 30 days. All right. And you need to go and check that out. And so I said that because habits trying to creep in, and residual effects, if you don't, a residual is the remaining of the remaining of substance, or remaining of something that is left after something gets completed, right? So the remaining of, a disability after an illness has taken place, or remaining of, funds after you have invested. It's the remaining after something is completed, right? After you are healed, after you have spent time in this, this month in the inner circle, and it's completed, what is left? What is the residual? So habits that may have been broken. So I talked about that. And I talked about me being vegan, and how even though I'm vegan, I still have a memory of what burgers taste like, and what hot dogs taste. I said hot dogs taste like, and what chicken tastes like, and what, animal products taste like. But just because I have a memory of that does not mean I am not a vegan. I have to jump back into being a non-vegan because I have a memory. So habits, why are you going back into your habits? Because you may be having a memory of it, and you may not feel as if you are as strong as you are because the memories are still there. No, it's just the residual effects. And I talked about how to break through the residual effects and what that means. Y'all need to go watch that, okay? And power comes from clarity, okay? So we go into our reset, releasing, and reframing. What does that look like, all right? How does that fit into our, moving forward and becoming even greater than we are, becoming high performers, right? Reset doesn't mean erasing everything. So that's some things that we looked at. It doesn't mean erasing everything. That's not what it means. It doesn't mean you throw away your whole story or pretend it never happened because you pressed the reset, and some other thing I'm just trying to forget about. I don't even want to, have any dealings with that because there are still residual effects. It's going to be there until, and it's there for you to embrace. The residual effects are not there to destroy you. They add value. One of the things about residual effects is the leftover is valuable. Come on. The leftover is valuable. It's now you're looking at it like, how is this memory valuable? Now you have a place of testimony. Now you have a place of expertise. Now you have a place of launching from and helping others in your business. And you could talk about, you could storytell in a different way. You can share your business in a different way, because the residual effects of what you have went through or the habits that you have overcome, but just because you remember them doesn't mean, oh, it's a negative place, it's a hurt place. This is why at the beginning I said we sit and we think about what we have, we reflect over the things that we have been through in August and what it has taught us, because when you remember them, you hold on to them in a different way. And we're teaching you how to hold on to them in a different way and using your residual effects as valuable assets for your growth. Okay, so we talked about that. So here's what I want you to do. These are things that we do inside of the inner circle. We always have work to do. We always have work. I always have an assignment for you. We write down 3 things and you're like, oh my gosh, writing again. Yes, there is power in writing, right? The Bible talks about writing the vision. There is so much power in writing. It helps you to rehearse. It helps you to, when you see it, you think about it. That's one way of putting it in your spirit. Then when you're writing it, that's another way. So if you're writing goals for yourself, they say write out your goals, because it's helping you to put it into your subconscious spirit, and it goes to work for you, and you start to seeing, what it is that you are wanting. Maybe you are wanting a red, BMW, a red Corvette, or whatever your favorite car is. And that is a goal that you have. But when you write it and then you post it, you are creating a connection. And so now when you go out to the streets, have you ever noticed that when you go and you're driving, everywhere you see is that thing that you wanted? Man, they didn't want a car until I wanted that car. You see everybody with what you want. That is the doors opening for you. That is your goals, making things come into your possession, into your vicinity, because that's your main focus. That's your definite purpose. It's becoming real. So one belief you need to reset. This is what we write down. One habit you need to reset. One relationship or boundary you need to reset. Okay. And so that is all that I am going to share with you on tonight. Now, this is what we learned in the last week. Every week, I am going to be doing a free mentorship teaching inside of the WYIC Inner Circle community, not the mentorship, because that's paid, right? But I realize that a lot of single moms is just like, whew, you try to rob Peter to pay Paul. I understand it, okay? Been there, done that. Try to robbing Peter to pay Paul. So I hear you. And I have a lot of people in my, hey, Daryl, hey, Fitzgerald. I have a lot of people in my DMs saying, man, I want to join, but I'm trying to, rearranging my funds so that I could be able to join. Listen, I want this to be as accessible as possible, and that you can still get value. You can still come into the inner circle and you can grow, you can learn, you can become the greatest person that you can become, right? So at the end of every month, I will be doing a free inner circle, snapshot of what we do inside the inner circle to help you on your mission of reclaiming your life of abundance. So if you know a single mom, let them know that they could join the Inner Circle community, and that it's going to be a free community. I just need I need you to DM me your email address, because it's an invitation only. It's by invitation only. Hey, Daryl, how are you? It's by invitation only. So if you want to be a part of the Inner Circle community and you have been coming to me, DMing me, said I would, but funds and da-da-da. We are making this available for you to have access to this, this type of community. Okay. So do that every week. DM me your email address, and we're going to get the ball started, because next month you want to be at the beginning of the month. You don't want to wait till the tail end, because you're going to miss out on so much goodness that we make available throughout the entire month, okay? You want to be in the inner circle now so that you can start gleaning and that you can start growing, that you can start rising, so that you can stop grinding and start surviving, right? You can start living in a place of abundance. You can start living in a place of breakthrough. You can start living in a place of greater, right? And that is for your life. Prosperity is for your life. Wealth and riches, they are for your life. What you need, you already have, but being in the right environment is going to give you you need the right soil. The right soil. You want to be in the right soil, okay? And so, I love you all. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, thank you so much for joining me, Fitzgerald. You're so welcome. And I thank you, and I pray that I said some things, and I'm pretty sure that I did, that you can go back and you can start implementing in your own life. When this month ends, when you go to sleep tonight, get your journal, get you a piece of paper, just write. Like, what is this month teaching me? How have I grown? How have I grown in my business? Okay? So, I love you all. We are done for the night, and I am going to let you all be great. Herman Smith, thank you so much for joining. Catch the replay, okay? Watch the replay. And we will see you all sooner than later. Bye.